If you are just coming across this video for the first time, please kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel. And what we are actually doing is just a breakdown of our old trade. Okay, so on the EURJPY, I did analysis on EURJPY, and what I saw, I'm actually waiting for market to come inside this VI level after this FVG. Okay, but I now actually have this FVG because it's actually monthly pullback is not that much. It's just a little pullback. Let's just say the candlestick pullback. That's just it. So I actually have my higher high. Let's just start from this point. I have my higher high, my higher low, my higher high again, my higher low. Okay, and I actually have this particular point. So market now take out structural liquidity at this particular point and give us this particular move. Okay, so after I have this particular move at the monthly time frame, I'm expecting the market to move upward more. I'm expecting the market to move upward, but on the monthly time frame, it's not that clear to me. As you all know, like people have been following me, I like trading weekly. So on the weekly time frame, I now have a confirmation. Okay, as you can see, if you check the Telegram channel on the, actually expecting market to come inside that zone. Yeah, okay, look at it here. You see, this is where I'm expecting market to come into. I'm expecting market to come inside this zone. Why? This is actually the weekly. This is actually the weekly time frame. And if you check on this particular chart, you will see the dates. Okay, you will see the dates. I actually did this analysis on the 2nd of on the 6th of February. Sorry, on the 6th of February. Everything is there. You see, so one thing about trading is always patient. Though we actually sold from this point because I'm expecting market to come and take out the structural liquidity. That's just it. So I was now waiting for this setup. So after some time, after some period of time, okay, after like some days, look at it here. This point has now been mitigated, and because it has been mitigated, I will not just jump into the structure like that. I was actually looking for a confirmation entry around this point. Okay, I was looking for a confirmation entry around this point. If this market is going to take out this inducement, look at it here. If this market is going to take out this inducement, then sell back to this point. But one thing about trading you need to know is that you need to have a double mind. You don't need to just be like, this is what will happen. The market is always smart. Like, the market is smart. So you just need to trade smartly, not being like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and it will work. You understand? It will work. You'll be like, yeah, strategy. So at that particular point, I did not have any confirmation on this zone. So I was just actually waiting. I actually wait for this month for this trade for like 1 month. I will not lie. I used like 1 month to wait for this setup. So after I have my sweep, okay, we have this particular entry where your major BOS has been taking out your structural liquidity. You wait for a sweep and a confirmation entry, then boom, you go for a buy. So that is what I actually did at this particular point. I was waiting for this sweep to happen. So because it's actually the weekly time frame, we are going to switch to the 4 hour to have a confirmation entry. Now if you are looking at this, I actually switched to my line chart. Okay, everything is there. This is how I do the analysis. Everything is there. Check the date, check the time, everything is there. Okay, so I actually did this setup. Why did I actually use this setup? I'll be explaining that. So on the lower time frame, what happens on the weekly time frame is actually playing out on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so we actually have the same structure. This is actually my major POS. This is actually my structural liquidity inside this particular point. Okay, so the moment I have that, I use my ABC model, ABC entry. Now some people will be asking me, just like the last video I did, some people are asking me some questions. If you want to know about the ABC, we actually have a video that explains about all that. Go and learn straight how I did my own analysis. So this is what I was actually explaining. You see, this is what I was actually explaining. So I'm actually waiting for, we have a major BOS. I'm actually waiting for this. So on the lower time frame, you can actually have a confirmation entry at this particular zone so that you actually risk low. Okay, so this is actually when we sell at this particular point. Okay, this is actually when we sell at this particular point, but the video is not actually about this. The video is about the buy. So let's just go straight to the point how I actually have that. So on the weekly time frame, I actually have this point. This point has been taken out as I explained earlier as our structural liquidity, and this is actually a BOS. Okay, that is one thing people don't know. Candlestick. This is actually BOS, and the low of this particular point is where I'm expecting market to come and take out. I'm expecting market to come and take out that point. As our lower time frame structural liquidity, then a confirmation entry at that particular zone. So After I have this particular candle, you see, market has actually mitigated this particular candle, and I have my switch. Automatically, I now switch to my 4-hour time frame. So switching to my 4-hour time frame. Okay, it's just like what we actually have here. Okay, so when I switch to this particular time frame, I switch it to the line chart. It is now very clear to me. It's now very clear. So what am I looking for? I'm actually looking for an entry. So this is actually a drop based drop. Look at it now. This actually is a breaker block here. Particular point, mitigation at this particular point. So over time, market now actually mitigate at this particular point. So when market actually mitigate at this particular point, I was actually looking for my ABCD entry. Okay, I was looking for my ABC entry. So I now switch it to the candlestick. So the women's structural liquidity has been taken out. What am I actually looking for? I'm looking for a break of structure, liquidity inducement to entry. That's just what I trade. So this is actually my break of structure. This is actually my liquidity, but I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure like this. I don't mark liquidity blindly. So I actually use my premium and discount area to check for my structural liquidity. So this is actually my structural liquidity at this particular point. So having this as my structural liquidity, I'm expecting market to come inside this zone. That's just it. I'm expecting market to come inside this zone. So I cut my candlestick inducement at this particular point. You see? Entry. Looking for my entry. We have weak entry. I think we also have some other entries, but it depends on. That's why I said one thing about trading is you just need to be smart. Then search for weak very fast. So okay, we have weak. Where is it? Okay, we have our VI breaker block, breakaway gap. We also have weak entry. So we are going to be using a weak entry strategy at this particular point. So I now mark out my weak. I now mark out my weak to this particular point. You see, I now mark out my weak. So when I mark out my weak, I like using 50%. I like using 50%. So here is going to be my 50% entry. Where am I targeting? I'm targeting the monthly external range liquidity. I use like 35 pips. This is actually 23 pips, but I just add more 10 pips in case of stop hunt. Okay. Because one thing about trading, you need to think of what to do next in case anything happens. So I target my overall monthly external range liquidity. So how am I going to know if market is going to come to that particular point? How will I know that market is actually coming to that particular point? It's for me to mark, use my fib extension. I use my fib extension to mark. Okay. So marking this actually my structural liquidity here. So using my fib extension. Where is this tools? Where is this tools? Okay, using my fib extension, I know markets. This, look at it. We have a liquidity at this particular side, so I know market is going to come to this point. But one thing I like doing, I like taking TP1, which is very important to me. I like taking TP1, and in most cases, I take my TP1 at 1.25. In most cases, I target liquidity area at that particular point. So I'm going to use this point as my TP1. Okay, I think it actually gave us 220 pips. Yeah, I think so. 220 pips. 200, yeah, okay. I actually use this point as my TP1. As I said earlier, I like using that point as my TP1 when I actually swing trading. I want you to know about TP. TP varies. That's why at times YouTube videos is not going to help you to define how you got to go for a private mentorship, because it depends on what the market is actually printing. That is how you set your exit and your TP. Okay, so you don't just use the idea of one particular video and you are moving on. So look at it now. Now have, so after trade now hits my TP1, after trade actually hits my TP1, what did I actually have at this particular point? This is actually the low. This is actually the low. Okay, this is actually the low and the high. Okay, so I actually have there as my high and my low. This is just a beginning of an uptrend. Have you seen it now? Okay, the beginning of an uptrend. Where to this external range liquidity. Internal range liquidity has been taken at what I'm targeting external range liquidity. That's just it. So what did I do next? I actually have my rally base rally. I think I explained it on them. Let's just search for it. I explained it on the video. Look at it here, class 9B. Okay, and class 9A. I actually explained it in details. Okay, rally base rally, drop base drop, because all these things you are seeing, they have how they actually behave. So that just, when I have my rally base, I look at a rally base, you see, that is how they are doing. Okay, so I'll not take this point as my liquidity and here as my inducement, but I wanted to confirm if it's actually okay, and we have this particular entry model, because what I normally trade is just copy and paste. So I'm actually going in details because of the last videos. I'm going in details to explain everything on this particular video. So that just it. Look at that particular entry at this particular point. Look at the entry here. Okay, on a lower time frame, you have it like rally base rally. So here it turns to be our liquidity, and we have this particular entry. Where is the entry at this particular? Look at the entry model here. Have you seen it now? This is actually the entry model for a rally base rally or a drop. You have a drop base rally. Okay, market to come and take out the liquidity there, give you a retest and just pump up. That just it. So I'm actually explaining it in details. So if you are looking at this particular video now, this is, one thing about trading is when you're actually watching online or you're reading textbooks, it's not like that on the live chat. But look at it, this is actually a base, okay, and this is actually my liquidity. Remember, we have something like this, okay, we have something like this liquidity, you see, a market takeout, boom, okay. So I'm going to wait for a candlestick confirmation entry. So that is what we actually did. And I'll mark out my base, and I'll mark out my base at this particular point. So after marking out this particular point, I'm actually waiting for market to come inside this zone, breaking breakout. Okay, I'm waiting for market to come inside this zone. So in order for me to check if this thing is actually okay, what I normally do, I like using premium and discount area, actually my structural liquidity. So I know, because this is actually my structural liquidity at this particular point, any entry below is actually valid, because that's the way I trade my own. So I now have this base. This is actually my inducement, but I don't like aggressive entry. See, this is actually a sweep. Okay, so an inducement has been taken, liquidity has been taken, inducement has been taken. What do? And I'll go for another buy. Okay, and I'll go for another buy. So after going for this particular buy, now I'm not use this my 200%, like some of you that actually know how I trade, that has been following me on the Telegram channel for like 2 years, 3 years. You know how I actually trade. I like using this particular point. So targeting this point, yeah, that's my full TP. And as I said earlier, my TP1 is very, very important to me. So if here is going to be my overall TP for this particular setup, here is my overall TP, and I'm also having a TP, okay, moving together with this particular point. What am I going to do? Don't just expect market to come and hit this particular point. No matter the strategy, this is how I trade my own. That's why if you are following me for years now, you see I like TP1, secure for full money first. So where is going to be my TP1? This breakup block, let's just say that this point is actually my liquidity. It will take out inducement first, okay, so I actually have this breakup block at this particular point. So that is expecting where I'm actually expecting the market to reverse, because in as much that it's actually an uptrend market, anything can actually happen. Okay, so I'm actually taking my TP1 at that particular point. So that is how I have, I think, 100 and something pips, yeah, 118 pips. Okay, then I'm not taking this particular point as my full TP. That just it. So that just how I actually have this setup. If you check on the Telegram channel, everything is there on the Telegram channel. Look at it here. You see, this is when they actually played out, a confirmation entry, rally base rally. Okay, have you seen it now? Just that it's because of this video I'm just explaining in details. Even when I'm doing my normal analysis on the Telegram channel, I don't actually do all those things. Okay, I don't do all those things. So that is just all. And now boom, market has actually taken this external range liquidity as our full TP. So just share the video to your people, like, comment, and I'll be dropping more videos on all my setups. Any setup I actually drop, I'll drop on my video on that. We actually have a private case study. This is actually a case study where I actually drop a chart review. If you're looking at this particular case study, this is actually a synthetic V75 setup, how we actually trade it and the rest of it. So we have a case study, we have other particular private platform, but let's just continue with this particular one. This one, details of the strategy I use, everything is here. The details, the videos, everything. We don't need to complain of network and the rest of the thing. Everything is there. So that just it. And the next videos, I will not be explaining all these things. That just it. We just go straight to the points and talk about the main stuff. Just like silver, we actually hit. Have you seen it? 8,600 pips. So I will also be doing a video. That's why I said turn on your notification. I'll also be doing a video on this silver. If you're using 0.01, this is $860 with minimum loss size of 0.01. If you're using 0.10, this is $8,600. So I'll be doing a breakdown on how I actually have this setup. So see you on the next videos, guys. Thank you.